pass. Big hit along the end boards. Wow. Gill gets the stick loose up the boards. Keeps it deep. He's got Alcock. One-timer scores. Cody Alcock with the overtime winner.
Back to the defenseman. Quick shot. Kick save. Rebound. Oh, what a save by Blobkoff.
Jenkins, Kujawinski, shot scores! 3-2 Fronts.
Well, the same dynamic duo that did it in the first period have done it here in the second period. Kujawinski and Jenkins.
And we're underway. New season here at the K-Rock. Tessier feeding it over Braithwaite. Takes a look. He's being forechecked. Cough up the blue line, but it was offside. Puck got just outside the line. Our first whistle of the broadcast. And if we can get the camera angle somehow, I'm not quite sure. The booth to our right out of the media box, Todd Gill fans. They have the 80s mullets going. You got to check it out if we can. I know our camera guys are pretty good. We got another whistle. See if we can get a side angle on this. Look, and they got every jersey that he ever played in. They got the Leafs. They got the...
There we go.
That's just...
Todd Gill is our new head coach. Hello, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank the Springer family, Doug Gilmour.
When there was a little changeover as far as my duties, I felt that I couldn't do both at this point in time. I had to get to know the league a little bit better, and obviously the 1996 birthdays in the draft. At that point in time, I brought Todd Gill in. He's had some success, obviously, with the Brockville Braves, owner, GM, coach, everything. So Todd's done a great job. Again, it's his first year here. So as my evaluation goes with Todd, as I said, this year was a freebie, so next year I'm going to be a little harder on him.
Too many men on the ice for the Frontenacs on the line change. And they're saying, look, and there are 6 on the ice. Reserve is tied in deep.
Todd Gill came to Kingston with a great reputation at the Tier 2 level. He had a great track record in Brockville, including one appearance in the RBC Cup, which is the national championship. Very respected as a player, a very lengthy NHL career, known as a very hard-working player during his playing days.
Todd Gill. Gill is a very good fighter. Sometimes you don't know who you're going with.
And I think that really elevated the coaching position behind the Frontenac's bench.
He's someone who's really, put the time in to learn the craft. I mean, it's not easy to, I mean, their old saying is, those who can do. But he was someone who did it, and he's also really trying to teach the game. And you can really see there's more structure to the game than there was to Kingston's game than there was with previous iterations of the Frontenacs.
Everyone I've talked to in Kingston saying one of the best things this organization has done in many years is hired Todd Gill as our head coach. And I think he's going to help turn this hockey club around with Gilly's help as a GM and all his scouts. I have a good feeling about the future of this hockey club.
Well, I think what you see is what you get. I'm pretty withdrawn from people. I don't like giving away what I'm thinking. I believe I have a very strong will and personality that I don't give in to what I don't believe in. And I think as I moved into the coaching, that has helped me and has hurt me in some ways. But you grow every day as a player, and you grow every day as a coach. So I have a lot to learn, but yet I think I, through my playing days as a player, have a lot to teach and give back to the players that not only mistakes I made, but positive things that other coaches have told me to make me a better player.
One of the things that he said that he learned from his coaches that he tries to apply is to do things his way. Always do it your way is what Pat Burns told him, because you end up getting fired or losing your job, being mad at yourself for not doing it the way you thought it should have been done in the first place.
For this afternoon's game, head coach Todd Gill of the Kingston Frontenacs has been appointed to the coaching staff of the Canadian Junior Under-18 team. Your thoughts on that? That's a kind of a feather in your cap.
That's exactly what it is. That's nice for Todd Gill, and it's good recognition for the France organization. He's turned this team into a team that works hard, game in and game out. And these international tournaments, are all about work ethic, and to bring someone on like Todd Gill who can clearly motivate guys and get them going and working hard, that's a nice addition to your staff.
Todd is a guy that has had definite success at the level just below the OHL, and he has brought that same level of commitment, the same systems here, and you've seen the Kingston Frontenacs buy into those systems.
This is a great opportunity to see who kind of might throw in the towel or who sticks with the system, sticks with the idea.
His systems work, and if we buy in, you know, good things happen.
Alcock in front, shot scores! Hat-trick goal! All three highlight variety for Cody Alcock. What a pull at short side.
I think sometimes you can have systems, and you know, my number one thing is you have to control blue lines, meaning if you're a defenseman and you're 5 feet inside your blue line and you look and you have no play, don't force it just off the glass and out and let the forwards recover, and then you start over again. For the forwards, when you're on the attack and the defenseman standing at the blue line, instead of trying to one-on-one and dipsy-doodle them and lose the puck and they counter, let's get it behind them and go get it.
Now collects, gets over center, over the blue line, dumps it into Kujawinski. There's the feed.
Now, if these D back off, then I have never told anybody they can't do anything offensively when they get the opportunity in a safe area. Sometimes they try to do a little too much, and you know, we get outnumbered situations because we're not making the right decision at blue line. So that's my number one thing. You know, after that, I think you have to adapt your systems to the talent that you have. So sometimes, you know, especially this year, it's been a struggle in our own end with our young D, and we have switched to man-to-man, to zone. We've tried them all, and I think next year, just the fact that they have a year under their belt will mean that much more of a difference, and whatever system we use, they'll be capable of doing it.
From what I've seen at practices, from what I've heard from the players, he demands excellence, he demands perfection. He understands that mistakes are made, but he really gets upset when those mistakes are made consistently.
2 Frontenacs and 1 Sudbury Wolf in the box. I'm sure that's a fair trade, but we'll see how this shakes down. It was 2-on-1 for Sudbury against Spencer Green when the whistle went.
I wouldn't want to cross him. He scares the crap out of me. Yeah. He's certainly not very happy with at times when he wants, but he's a perfectionist. He says when somebody gets 2 goals, he wants 3.
Todd's a no-nonsense guy, and he's followed Doug's blueprint in terms of what's expected.
One game after a loss, a 2-1 loss, I believe it was against Sarnia, there was a season ticket holder get-together upstairs, and he came up and spoke to the fans. And I said to him, good game, and he said, well, we lost. And then I told him about, you know, that this is rebuilding, and the boys look great. They're not tired when they come off the ice in the 3rd period, and they're fighting for their shifts, and that's wonderful.
As a coach, knowing that this season was going to be a long one, you know, I watch each individual player and how they progress and how they get better as the year goes on. Are they going to have games where, you know, they took 3 steps forward and take 2 back? Absolutely, but it's how do they rebound from that. I think they've all made huge strides, and I look forward to the future.
It's great having a former NHL player. You know, learn so much from them. They know what it takes to be at the next level, and you know, it's just great to have them.
Hard hit near center ice. Todd Gill.
Great guy. Knows what he's talking about. Played the game for many years, so you know, he's been in all situations. So, you know, if you got any questions, he's your guy to go to. He's always got the right answer.
Billy Jenkins, a guy they picked up for some draft picks from the Niagara team, and he's really a fast little guy.
He's going to be a neat addition. I talked to a couple of people about Jenkins, and they really like the pickup.
He's a guy who's played before. You know, obviously he's played in the NHL and stuff, and he knows what it takes. He's gone through it and stuff, so, you know, he's a good mentor to have too. And, you know, he's given me a great opportunity. I'm very fortunate for that.
Well, Matson will freeze it with Greenaway right there. Greenaway leading scorer as he takes a cross check. Now we're going to come together here. A little shot from behind by, hey, it's Connor Stokes.
He's really good. He's a lot like I had Dave Barr my first year in Guelph, and they're very similar. He's real good at sort of sparking the guys up. You know what you have to do. You don't have to be fancy. I mean, for my style of play, he's definitely played into it well, and the things that I've learned this year have been pretty invaluable, just because there are things that you can take to the next level, and I couldn't have asked for more this year.
Pulls to the perimeter. Judson now, he's going to take the shot, but it's blocked by Connor Stokes. Connor Stokes has good speed. Maybe he gets the breakaway. He's got the body position. And the what scores? It goes in the net. Whoa!
Having Todd on the bench as a mentor, kind of, it's great, especially in practice. He gives you those little pointers because he's been obviously through the league for 10 plus years, and to have those little expertise has been great for me as a defenseman to have.
For Levo, but good play there by Warren Steele to break up that play.
Yeah, that was nice. That was just great body position. Stepped in front of Levo and muscled him off the puck.
The different way he teaches compared to some of the other coaching styles that I've had is second to none. I mean, he really helps us out a lot.
One thing I noticed with Todd Gill coaching is he's a teacher. He'll take time, one-on-one, and talk to players before the game. During the game, you see him correcting players.
I've had a number of people say, if you watch Todd Gill behind the bench, he is talking to those players. He is giving them positive remarks, and I'm sure at times he's letting them know that they made mistakes. No questions about it.
Watching Todd on the bench, just so positive. He's got a great patience for the young players, and does a lot of teaching during the games.
Gill and Darren Keily down there. Gill leading the discussion.
Todd Gill very animated behind the bench, letting his guys know exactly what he expects.
The boys are getting a lot of feedback even when they're sitting on the bench. If the kids are playing well or if they make a mistake, Todd is there talking to them right away, and he expects them to work hard, and I think the boys are kind of feeding into that sort of thing, and I'm impressed with him. I'm quite impressed.
Well, I've always enjoyed teaching. You know, I've learned a lot of quality things from coaches that I played under, and for me, when you see a player excel because of something maybe you have told him, to apply his talent to the advice that I gave, that's very rewarding for me.
Todd's, you know, filled right in that role perfectly, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's a good thing. The kids get along. Everybody's on the same page here and wants the same thing moving forward.
A more skilled team last year and into a rebuild this year, and I'm just trying to get better as a whole.
Oh my God, you didn't charm me. I was like, that was the best.
Well, you talked to Todd Gill about his team in his first action. How's it going, Todd? You know, it is what it is. But this is a fun time to coach. There's two times you really like coaching. Of course, you're winning a championship. You have a great team. You're winning. Or you've got a young team and you're able to mold them. And this is right now for him a real good time. He did a great job, like I said earlier, in Brockville with his team. And now with this young team, he gets to put his imprint right away on these young guys' lives as far as discipline, and he does a great job of getting everybody to play the same way. You can see the team right now. They're all playing together. They're all playing the same way.
I think for the most part, I've handled it the best I could. I probably have made mistakes along the way, but again, that's the learning curve, and that's where you get better at, not only as a player, but as a coach. And I believe that you know, a lot of the kids have made huge strides this year, not only with their play on the ice, but how they react off the ice, knowing how to get up for a game, knowing what it's going to take next year to not only play the regular season, but be ready for a playoff drive.
Here we go. This is Todd Gill and Brad May. Two tough kids going at her here.
Here's a pass to Gill. He's going in against Freesbaugh. Gill scores! Todd Gill, beautiful goal by Gill going high. 3-0 Toronto.
The priority selection will commence in about a minute and a half. Thank you.
I'm Darren Keily. I'm the assistant coach, assistant general manager of the Kingston Frontenacs. Been in the league for quite a while. Started in Barrie, working with Bert Templeton. Worked in Sudbury with Bert as well. Moved to Peterborough, won an OHL championship in Peterborough, and this is my 4th year with Frontenacs. I think I have you know, enough experience now within the league to know what to expect from the players and around the league, other teams. So the experience is one of the biggest attributes I have, and I believe I work well with the kids. I'm an honest, loyal person that tries to keep things positive around the room. It was kind of the same way as I was taught as a coach, was it's okay to make mistakes, but you know, you have to let the kids make mistakes and then you know, try and correct those and limit them so that they're not reoccurring all the time. So try and do it with positive reinforcement rather than a stern, you know, yelling, screaming type of person. It's more of you know, a pat in the back, go back out and try and do a little bit better job.
As popular today as he was in 1993, our boy from Kingston lives in the hearts of Leafs fans. Still their favorite. Playing that kind of hockey they don't play anymore. Number 93, the killer, Doug Gilmour.
You saw a bit of difference when Doug Gilmour came in. There seemed to be a little more spark, a little more edge than in previous years, and that's not a knock on Jim Halton and the rest of them. It just seemed to be something that had to be switched up to get out of the malaise, but it wasn't enough, and for Doug to go up top and use his skills that way.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ed Baker at the league office, and I will just commence with
the commitment to obviously to be a general manager. He spent a lot of time on the road as well. He watched a lot of hockey. You know, I've enjoyed that side. I think part of after retirement in hockey and was management with the Leafs for a little bit. I became a head coach here, and now I'm the general manager. So, you know, and I think it's something that I have passion for. It's been my life.
Kingston, if you would please submit your selection, and then we will prompt you as to the announcement.
And I want to continue, and this is just a great learning experience for me. And again, I don't know after 2 more years if I'm going to continue doing this or if I go back to coach. I don't know. Again, the coaching side was a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding when you see players go on to the pro and other kids, even though they don't go pro, but they excel in their school program, so it's great to see.
Kingston Frontenacs select the first selection, Roland McEwen from the Toronto Marble.
he's just made it possible to have a bright future for this team, and that's something I really look forward to. So he's doing a great job for sure.
This game's all about friendships, as Joe said. Success, failures, it's all a part of life that I'll never forget.
Having Dougie, he's obviously been a very prestigious hockey player and inducted in the Hall of Fame and a former Leaf, so definitely having him up either on the bench or up in the press box has been huge. Just talking to him, and he's giving you little pointers on his throughout his years in the leagues.
He's a well-known person, that's for sure.
Dougie Gilmour. 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 Hey, Dougie, is that sweet?
Absolutely. What a guy. The best hockey player in the world today, Dougie Gilmour. And don't you forget it, from Kingston, Ontario. Isn't he lovely? I love this guy. I love him.
Being a general manager, I guess you're not under the same fire on a day-to-day basis. I think probably ultimately the general manager's role is better suited to Doug Gilmour. He has a great reputation in the hockey world. He has a lot of influence with a lot of hockey people. And as a general manager, even from a scouting perspective, obviously it's important to do some scouting, but if you have a great scouting staff underneath you, your real responsibility is to oversee that. So I think in year number one, Doug Gilmour did a good job. I think certainly for the trades he made, he seemed to come away with the better of the deals that were made. He picked up some very important future pieces for the hockey team.
Darcy Greenaway, 52 points, leads the Kingston Frontenacs offensively. 9 power play goals as well, so he's been the key guy with the man advantage.
The trades in the summertime, obviously, both were with London Knights. Igor Bobkov, for example. It was a perfect fit for where we wanted to go. We knew this year going into it we were going to take a step backwards, and thank you to the fans for being patient here, but we are a young hockey club. Adding Darcy Greenaway for a 15th round pick, that has turned into a 5th round pick now because his goal production, and I have no problem trading another player for a 5th round pick that's going to score that many goals. So.
Shoots, hit the post, rebound, they score! Greenaway. The hat-trick goal gives the Frontenacs a 5-4 lead.
Of the trades he made, I think for the most part, they really benefited Kingston, and he made some very shrewd moves, but certainly the Spooner deal, which was the biggest one that had the most attention focused on it, and that was a pressure situation for Gilmour, and I really think that he came through that with spades, and Kujawinski is going to be a real treat for Kingston hockey fans over the next few years.
We haven't seen the newest, and we're hoping the most talented guy of the new guys yet. Tonight will be his debut.
Well, Ryan Kujawinski comes over as part of the Ryan Spooner trade. And there are some people asking, did we get enough for Ryan Spooner? And really the only answer to that question is time will tell.
The Generals were looking for.
Kujawinski, Jenkins, and scores! Coming right back seconds later. Bailey throws his arms up.
I've been personally very impressed with some of the maneuvers that he's been able to accomplish so far, starting with the priority draft last year where the man they had targeted was in fact Ryan Kujawinski, but he was picked before they were able to draft him. The best player that was available when the Frontenacs were up is the son of Ty Domi, Max Domi. And even knowing that Max Domi had expressed that he would not report to Kingston, Frontenacs still drafted him, and that maneuver was criticized at the time, but in hindsight, they made out like bandits in that, because when you draft a player and he doesn't report to your team, you lose that asset, you receive a compensatory first-round pick. So the Kingston Frontenacs have 2 picks in the top 10 of this year's first round.
With the 8th selection in the OHL priority selection, Owen Sound attack.
The Owen Sound Attack are pleased to select with the first round selection, Jacob Middleton from the Huron-Perth Minor Hockey.
Here's our next selection, guys.
Submit your selection and we will prompt you after the announcement.
Last year's draft, obviously we picked Max Domi. He was a defected player in training camp, so we moved him. We got a compensation first round pick, which is our 9th pick this year.
With the 9th selection in the 2012 OHL priority selection, Kingston Frontenac.
Kingston Frontenacs are proud to select Sam Bennett, Toronto Marbles.
Did not have a 2nd round pick. Our 3rd round pick was Ryan Hutchison, a player from Chicago. He's done a great job for us. You know, again, he was a 3rd round pick for us. Then you go on, you've got Braden Blight that, you know, again, these kids are 16 years old playing defense in this league. And
back of the net for Blight. He's going to be a meat sandwich. He gets pinballed around and knocked.
They've got a lot of, I guess, more than anything, experience this year that we've pretty much fast-forwarded these guys. So that was part of our game plan. And you know, then we got Jacob Smith. He's a little slight right now, but he's got a lot of hockey sense, and he's going to be a big part of our team in the future here. We also have Fitzmaurice that in training camp he had a bad wrist, and we did not know if he was going to need surgery or not, but he's playing Tier 2 right now, and he's doing a great job, and he'll be with our hockey club next year.
You know, it takes time to evaluate a GM, but I think the early returns are pretty good. I mean, he recognized what holes they had to do, what they had to do in the short term to try to set themselves up for future success.
I'm not sure Igor Bobkov knows what to think right now, because he's only faced 14 shots after 2 periods of play. Nixon, one-timer right to Greenway.
I think he played it smart with deciding, you know, let's draft Max Domi. Let's, you know, try to get the compensation pick and some later draft picks. Maybe it wasn't a popular move. Maybe it smacked of being a bit of a, you know, a concession. But he ended up turning that into some picks. And
Kingston Frontenacs are pleased to select with our 2nd pick in the 2nd round, the London Gold, Spencer Watson.
He also ended up with the number 4 pick in the draft, essentially because he got Kudrwinski in a trade. So all in all, I think you have to give Doug Gilmour a very strong grade for his first year as general manager, and yet, you know, he maybe found a role that works a bit better for him.
He's going to get a lot of ice time here in Kingston, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him develop here on Kingston ice.
That's the commitment that we're all putting into this for this city. I think it's going to be great to see some of these young players that, when I grew up here in Kingston, to watching the Junior Canadians, have an opportunity to watch, you know, there's some certain players that are fans. A guy, Gary McMonagle, he was my favorite player. He was a little centerman, and again, we want that bond with these kids in Kingston, to see some of these kids that are going to develop here and go on to that next level and be their little boyhood hero.
Norm, ask him what his number is.
What's your number?
93.
This is the start of a beautiful thing. Gonna jump right in and give it everything. This is the start.
There's 3 things this season that I've noticed that I've never seen before, and they all go together. One is conditioning, one is work ethic, and the other is attitude.